Welcome to the WinEH podcast. This show is focused on empowering ranchers. Whether you're a seasoned rancher or just getting started, we'll guide you on how to use the infinite banking concept as an alternative way to finance your operations. It's a better way to think about money. Join us as we discuss planning for the future, attracting the next generation, and the art of keeping more money within the family. Here's your hosts, Winnie and Lacey.
Hey, so glad you're choosing to lean in with us for our conversation today as we just finished an amazing weekend for the Hardgrass Bronc Bench 2024 in Pollockville, Alberta. And we walked away with some insights and some general appreciation.
Yeah, it's always such a recovery mode after the Bronc match. So this is an incredible 2-day event that's put on right in my home community, and countless hours and hands on deck from so many volunteers. It's so awesome to see everyone come together with one common goal, and that is to put on a top-notch, high-class bronc riding match. And so I think that each and every year, the committee and the community members just knock it out of the park. And that's what happened this past 2 days. It's Monday afternoon, and I will be honest, I'm still in recovery mode just because it's lots of hours on your feet and late nights, early mornings.
Lots of talking.
Yeah, lots of talking. Right. It's so cool, so this was our 4th year there, showing up as a sponsor. And so as a community member, as well as being able to sponsor this high-class event, just warms my heart, because when we started sponsoring this event back in 2021, to see the way we have grown and evolved the Rancher Way brand is just so exciting, because if you take a moment and look back over your progress, it's kind of like that saying, the days are long, but the years are short. And to see where we've come and how the Bronc match is evolving and growing each year, it's just incredible to look back on.
Definitely. Well, one of the things that I also really appreciate is, as I'm learning and growing with you, Lacey, when we go to different events that we show up for, whether they're a bronc match or whether we're going to the Soil and Health Grazing Conference, each style is each event is really different. And there's differences between the way that the shows are put on when it's a volunteer committee versus when they are for profit. And I have to say, with relation to it, because how this event was put on was by all volunteers. And I have to say, for an all volunteer committee, it's excellent. And lots of support goes into this, and the production for a volunteer committee is just astounding. And so I 100% agree with you on that. Some of the things that you and I talked about after the event was done is, what is it that we do that really can bring extra value to your rodeo families, right? Like your extended family. I mean, I know that you and Reed no longer participate in it, but you have decades of family members, rodeo family members that are still doing this. And then they're nurturing their next generation into becoming a part of a new generation of rodeo family. And you have to think back on, sometimes when it comes to money, there's this comment that easily can come up no matter what world you're from. And that's like, oh man, if I knew now what I knew, then I probably would have more to show for it than I do right now. So yeah, what would you say to that?
Yeah, so just being there over the weekend, seeing lots of mine and Reed's rodeo family, and now we all have kids. Back in the day when the husbands were competing, it's just so cool to see how we've all grown. We've all grown our families. Reed comes from a family of rodeo athletes. So his Uncle Brad and Uncle Bruce were both professional bareback riders. Reed was a professional bareback rider. Cousin Shelby is a professional trick rider. And Cousin Kendall, I have my fangirl shirt on today, is a professional breakaway roper. And so our rodeo just runs through the family blood. And so my dad was a calf roper in his younger days, and then I got the barrel racing itch. And so I passed that on to my daughter now. But as I was there and I'm watching all of these incredible families come together at one event for a sport that they love and a sport that is truly in their blood. It all comes back to how can we make every dollar that comes in, how can we make it count and make it work for us? Because something that Reed has always said since learning about infinite banking is, man, if I could have had this when I was rodeoing, or if the guys that are going now could have this, and every time you come into those windfalls of winnings, if you could make that work for you forever, because in rodeo, there's no pension plan, there's no retirement plan. There's a saying that always has been around that's like, not if you get injured, but when you get injured in rodeo. And so being able to prepare for those times when it can stop in the blink of an eye, your ability to enter a rodeo, provide for your family. A lot of these guys, that is how they provide for their families. And so it just got me thinking that it doesn't matter what industry we're in or how we put food on the table, whether we're a rancher, a farmer, or we're a rodeo family. How can we make those dollars do more than one job so that when the time comes where we're ready or we're forced to step back from our earning, that we can be okay, that we can know that we've done everything for our family, we've done everything that we can with those dollars that are coming in to protect that lifestyle that we love living, and also prepare the next generation, because it's just, we pass it on. Like the rodeo, it just gets passed on to the next generation and generations to come. So with all that said, that was a lot of words, but how can, if I see a way, and I know that you do too, how infinite banking can help these rodeo families protect the lifestyle that they love and plan for the future generations.
Yes. And so, us sharing what we do here at Rancher Way, why is it called Rancher Way? And it's because each and every family has a different formula for how they want, to live their lifestyle. I mean, there's like the common denominator, the ranching, the farming, or the rodeo lifestyle, but you guys all have like little different things that you want to do. One can do bareback, you could do the barrel racing, you could do the bronc riding. It doesn't really matter. All of it takes money. And to the very heart of what we're attempting to say here is that with every dollar earned and every dollar spent, you want to maximize each dollar coming through your pocket from here on out, because the accumulation of our financial decisions will ultimately end up with a particular result. You're either going to feel like you have enough money or you're not, right? Mm-hmm. So banking is a process. It's not a one-time set it, forget it. It's like learning about a brand new financial lifestyle that will allow you to keep more money in your pocket and take that same dollar and have it multiplied in many different ways. We all know that there's only so much cash flow to go around. But what if you could take that same dollar and have it work for you for the rest of your life? What if you could take that same dollar and also plan for the long term, like the legacy planning, and start taking care of those advanced estate planning needs? Because not only is this a lifestyle that you guys all love, but there is also that huge desire to make sure that your family is taken care of if you're no longer here. When not if, it's when you are no longer here, right? So you can take that same dollar and do like a really good job of those two things, those things that are really important at the heart of what you love to do.
Yeah, I think like with everything you just said, that was so great, because you can summarize it as all of those things that cross our mind and for some of us cause worry. All of those boxes can be checked with IBC so that when the day comes where one of us is no longer here, or we're not able to earn an income the way we are accustomed to earning it, where we know we're going to be okay.
Well, and what are some of the other reasons that can stop a bronc rider from continuing to bronc ride? I mean, other than age, what ultimately takes us out from earning income the way that we do? So many times I can hear within earshot some of the retired bronc riders like, oh, well, this is my last year. well, last year was my last year at bronc riding because I have some pinched vertebrae, right? Like I can no longer ride, or my knees screwed up, or my hips are screwed up, or whatever the case is. And so, Lacey, how do you feel that infinite banking can really help in certain situations like that, especially if a rider becomes injured?
Well, I know one thing we talked about yesterday when we were recapping the weekend is there's so many ways to be involved in rodeo even after you're done competing. And there's the production side of things. There's the stock contractor side of things. You know, there's so many little ways you can be involved. And so how can we set ourselves up? It got me thinking, okay, how can I help these families to set themselves up so that when the day comes that they're not earning an income from competing anymore, but maybe they want to earn an income, let's just say on the production side of things. So how can we set them up while they are earning winnings like from competing, set themselves up so that they can still be involved in the lifestyle that they love and the industry that they love, but be okay financially? Because a lot of times, even like Reed and I, we're not involved with rodeo anymore, you know, besides the little bit that our daughter does. But whenever we are at events like the Hardgrass Bronc match, we're with our people and that's where we feel at home. So how can infinite banking, I do think it can provide that freedom to be able to choose to carry on doing something that you love in the industry and the lifestyle that you love, if we can set up and prepare for that time. And infinite banking can solve for that.
Yeah, so very much the essence of what we're attempting to also say here is very proactive. This is a measurement to take when it comes to finances. And when you talk about your daughter, you know, congratulations, by the way, to her and to you for being able to be there for her first proud moment, winning her first buckle and everything. And that was so sweet. And when I think about, as an aside of what we do, being able to help educate and implement and coach our clients to successfully integrate infinite banking, we do have to have our life insurance license to do that.
Yeah.
And so with that capacity, because we have that license, we are also able to offer our clients the ability to check out income protection, right? And so when we're preparing our children to make sure that they're really prepared for their rodeo, like the eventuality that, okay, there's a really good, at least 50-50 chance. Maybe in some, depending on who you talk to, it's probably more than a 50-50 chance of, it's not just a matter of if, it's when we get injured doing these activities, right? And so you can, as a parent, prepare your child to get a certain income protection or certain injury protection in place ahead of time so that they're not ever, like, you know, well before they're injured. And so that when they do get injured, there actually is going to be a payout.
Right.
So just something to also think about as a proactive management, because I'm sure, like, if you can think about any of the times that you've known anyone that was injured, what does that cost?
Yeah, like it's usually followed up with a, oh crap, what are we going to do moment. And so that is where us wearing our insurance hat comes in, and we're able to help people solve for those what if moments. And it's a really good feeling to be able to help people see a different way. And you mentioned like Sid winning her first belt buckle. So she was in the dummy roping contest at the bronc match, and all the stage was filled with kids. And that's all the next generations of this rodeo lifestyle and this rodeo family. So what we do today as parents will impact our kids, but what it also does is it impacts that next generation and the next generation. So we will eventually get to a place where we've hopefully solved that financial divide that you and I talk about all the time, where we have protected what we love and what we want to do with our lives, and we now have freedom of choices.
Right. And doing it ahead of time is going to create this impact, this ability where you're doing it at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it and you're paying, like you're actually, I know a lot of people can view it in their mind as an extra expense, but actually what you're doing is you're buying discounted dollars to solve a problem. Instead of, if and when it happens, you're not coming up with 100% of your dollars or spending 100% of like your savings or 100% of like your credit to solve a problem when it comes up. You're actually spending like 10 cents on the dollar or 20 cents on the dollar to solve a problem by doing it ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So just really keep that in mind, and just hopefully that helps to shift and say, okay, there's something to consider here. This is a good thing, right? And especially when at the end of the day, what we're all looking at is like, oh man, those like 8 seconds, seeing those bronc riders and seeing all the excitement that comes right back down to the lifestyle that you guys love so much. And I have to say too, like, how much do you think it costs, like an outfit costs for a bronc rider? Like I look at every single rider that I saw there. It's like, oh man, they're probably wearing like hundreds of dollars worth of gear.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's costly. Yeah. Your equipment is costly. The upkeep, if something breaks your vehicle, because they're traveling all over. It's not just a one stop, get her done. It's, they're all over Canada and the US from January all the way until December, where they make their last stop in Las Vegas. So it definitely costs money for them to make money. And so every little dollar that we can protect and make work for us in the long run, it's going to give us more freedom.
You know, something else just came to mind for me is that there's a certain percentage, right? Like, so there's so many different bronc riders out there as a thought process. Like what is the percentage of people who actually make a decent living out of any competition that's in the rodeo life?
Oh gosh.
Right? Versus the people that, right? So again, this is so important. Like, so if you happen to be in that top percentile that does make a good living at doing rodeo, great, good on you. But there's also a good percentage that do it for the love of doing the sport, but may just break even or may even be losing money by continuing to just pay out of pocket to do this. So this is where, again, I just really emphasize what Lacey and I share. It really is about, hey, if you're going to end up being in that percentile where you may not be making like the top percentage of income at this lifestyle, at least at the very minimum, if you practice doing infinite banking, you will keep more of your dollars in your pocket instead of losing too much of it. Right. So,
So with that said, we have a brand new book coming out, the Canadian version of Farming Without the Bank. Highly encourage you head to our website, ranchyourway.com. Grab that book. You can pre-order it right now. You save on shipping $20. But here's the thing. When you're reading it, if you are a rodeo cowboy, cowgirl, or maybe you're not a farmer or a rancher, apply the concepts in the book to whatever it is that you do. Whether you're a bronc rider, a farmer, a rancher, a garbage truck driver, I don't know. Apply it because the concept works no matter what industry, like whatever you're doing, it can work. And so we appreciate you being here, listening to us. We especially appreciate all of the downloads for our podcast. So thank you very much for being here and listening. And we will see you in the next episode.
So glad you leaned in with us on the WinEH podcast. We truly hope you're feeling more informed and empowered to take another step towards optimizing your financial life. Right now, make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep growing and learning with us. Until next time, we wish you prosperity in every area of your life.